Oh, sorry. I would like, thank you so much, Joyce, for the word of prayer. I would like everyone who has joined in to mute their microphones as well as their videos to enable us to have smooth transaction.
And it started last year. In fact, they are doing it until October, when everybody should have rolled into the newspaper.
Everyone mute their microphone. We are going to start now. I just want to speak 2 words before I welcome the presenters of today on board. Welcome on board, all of you wonderful clients of Liaison Group. In this particular engagement meeting during a midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, which has hit the whole world. It's now almost 7 months since the outbreak of this unseen enemy, which has brought the whole world to a standstill economically, socially, and socially within our society since then. This pandemic of COVID-19, as you are aware, started in China early December 2019 and has since spread across the globe with a massive death. As the whole world tries to fight the virus, we at Liaison Group, we are not left behind, informing our clients the strength we have behind your massive investment as far as risk and insurance are concerned. The steps we have taken into consideration, making sure that your investments are well covered and protected. That's why we decided to welcome you through this session to be able to pass over our strengths to you and as well be able to get your feedback over our services and impact, which has been experienced over years, and at the same time your business support, which has made us be where we are today. We really say thank you, because it is not for granted that you chose Liaison to be part of your team throughout this journey. I would like to take this early opportunity to introduce my top management team, especially those ones who are going to take us through the slides this morning. This morning we have introduction, Brian Robb, our General Manager, Risk and Insurance, who is going to take us through introduction of Liaison Group. Next will be followed by our Group Team Leader and Managing Director, Tom Muller, who will take us through his presentation. And by the end of it, we'll have a room for questions and answers as well from our able team. Thank you so much for creating this time. It is not for granted to be part of us during this particular time. I take this opportunity then to welcome our group General Manager, Mr. Brian Robb, to commence with his speech in terms of introduction of Liaison Group, and thereafter automatically welcome our team leader and group managing director, Tom Muller. Brian Robb, you can take.
Thank you very much, my colleague, Danson Kaba from Mombasa. Our dear clients, our bosses, you're most welcome. I request Frida to project. So thank you very much, our dear clients, our bosses. You're most welcome to today's Liaison Group Risk and Insurance. As you are aware, and Dan has mentioned, insurance is part of our life. And as part of our life, we must ensure that we're able to secure your business. Allow me, our dear clients, our bosses, to introduce our team. Our team is led by our captain, Tom Muller, who is also our group managing director. We have myself, Brian Robb. I'm in charge of risk and insurance. Danson Kaba, who is our regional manager at the coast. Mike JK, who is our head of customer service. We have Regina Osea, our head of public sector. Victor Mukwanja, our head of human capital or employee benefits. We have our senior consultant in charge of risk management, Dennis Karanja. Madeline Mosere, our senior consultant in charge of private sector. Also in our team, dear customers, is Mark Kitau, who is our head of tourism and hospitality. We have Janet Maina, who is taking care of our retail clients and special projects. And we have quite a number of our clients, of our colleagues. I'm very sure you have seen them, our riders. Dear customers, the company that is Liaison Group was formed in the year 1981. And it is a company that is independent as a non-banking financial institution. In terms of the pillars that we provide, is anchored on 4 pillars, that is risk and insurance, healthcare, pension, and investment consultancy. We are proud of our clients because of our comprehensive suite of services offerings that enable us to offer only an exclusive support to you, our dear clients, in building and maintaining robust management and ensuring that the internal control structures are in place. Our dear customers and our clients, value creation driven through our personal determination of a highly motivated and skilled staff across Africa has enabled us to provide quality service. Our services, the way I've mentioned, is anchored on 4 pillars. That is risk and insurance, which is our main foothold in growing our Liaison Group. We also have healthcare, whereby we contribute to a healthy nation. Pension, we ensure that whatever you do, you retire happily. And whatever money you make, we also ensure that we have our investment to do the consultancy. So today, our dear customers, our bosses, we are going to discuss on risk and insurance, which is purely risk management, insurance broking, and human capital benefits. In terms of the pillars, everywhere we are proud ourselves to have 4 pillars. In risk and insurance offering, we do risk advisory. We ensure that we have done risk surveys. We do risk management. Of course, we have a risk management department, and I'm very sure that our clients have been able to experience that. Furthermore, we ensure that we do risk registers, risk mapping. That is on what we call risk advisory. We also ensure that in terms of the insurance, we don't only provide insurance which is book related, but we have a robust team, the way I've mentioned, which design insurance programs. We also do day-to-day operations in terms of the administrations of your portfolio. We do also insurance audits, and we ensure that all the programs in place are there to enable you secure your business and focus on profits. Our products, dear customers, include asset which is movable and non-movable. That includes the property, the financial liabilities of financial sector. We have risk, we have casualty, automobile, as well as marine and aviation. That includes also the motor vehicle, which is under automobile. Lastly, in terms of our products is human capital. I'm very sure you are aware of what is happening currently, which is group life, credit life, and mortgage insurance. We are proud to announce that we have negotiated all of our policies to ensure that the COVID-19 is covered under group life policies. Also, in terms of our specialized products, which now make the 4 pillars, we have e-bank assurance, which we provide operations in terms of day-to-day insurance administration to leading banks. The most affected sector is by COVID-19 is tourism and hospitality. And we have also tailor-made some of the products in terms of advisory to ensure that our clients are duly guided. This is actually enabled by our insurance department, which does negotiation to ensure that our clients get the best product as well as the best solutions in the market. Dear customers, our network in terms of operations, we have our foothold in Eastern Africa, that is Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania, as well as South Sudan, with a robust network cutting across the global market, that is Joburg in South Africa, regionally, as well as Lloyd's of London in UK and Beijing in China. So that enable us to serve our clients who have a foothold or network across in Eastern Africa or Kenya, and of course they are spread regionally. In terms of servicing our clients, we also are cognizant of the fact that we have a crowd base. Our foothold, the way I've mentioned, is in Eastern Africa, but we're equally to serve our clients in South, that is in Joburg. In Central Africa, we are growing to open a branch very soon in DRC. And in North Africa, we shall actually have 2 service points, that is Marrakesh as well as Abidjan. So dear customers, dear clients, you shall actually enjoy the services of Liaison Group across the region. Our industry focus or our industry coverage is in financial services. Thank you very much. I can see many are duly represented here. We have manufacturing and allied. Thank you also. I can see members from that sector. We have commercial and services. Thank you equally. We have energy and mining. We pride ourselves to offering quality service in energy and mining. We contribute to the growth of the economy, as well as in non-profit organization, in government and state agencies, tourism and hospitality, telecommunication and technology, agriculture, as well as in constructions and housing and allied, and finally, infrastructure. Now, dear customers, that is a brief introduction of Liaison Group. Allow me to invite our Group Managing Director, who is our Captain, Tom Mulwan. And before I do that, there is a Chinese proverb which says that a man without a smiling face must not open a shop. And we are proud to say that our captain has always told us that we must have a smiling face as we serve our clients. And you can see all the way from our riders to our group managing director, we always have a smiling face to serve you, our dear clients. Tom Mulo, you're most welcome, our managing director.
Thank you very much, Brian. I guess your Chinese saying has to do with me showing my face. So I'll show my face very briefly. I hope I'm still smiling in this very difficult and very unprecedented circumstances. I'm so happy that most of you could join us this morning. Brian has been very clear to remind us that our clients here at Liaison, we call you the boss. And we are very, very proud to call all of you our bosses. So I can see we've got a cross section of stakeholders and our customers, our clients all of them from the 47 counties in Kenya, and many of you watching virtually or listening virtually, and some of you actually working out of Kenya in your virtual environment as dictated by the current pandemic situation. We are happy that this has since been downgraded to epidemic. I don't know how many will agree that it deserves to be downgraded from a pandemic to epidemic. But that's a debate for the World Health Organization to carry forward. So today we have got a very interesting topic. This topic has been proposed by a section of our bosses, our customers, and we've been asked how is it that we can ensure or risk manage COVID-19. We shall attempt to engage with that topic, and it's going to be a thought-provoking discussion. So I'm happy that most of you have already started typing in questions and reactions into this topic. As we proceed, if you want to interrupt me or you want to stop me or you can't hear what I'm talking about or you can't hear my voice, please raise up your hand. I'll be able to pick you up and I will address your concern as we move on. So thank you very much. Let's plug into the topic. And I will start with setting up the stage for this discussion with a research which was done by the Risk Management Society International in Q4 2019. We have shared this study with some of you before. Now, if you look in the screen, a cross-section of risk mapping was done by the Risk and Insurance Management Society out of New York. And in Q4 2019, if you look at the blue ball there, the pandemic and infectious disease was not deemed to be a red risk. It was never deemed to be a threat. What was seen as a threat as of Q4 2019 was things like geopolitical instability, the fight between US and China, Russia, North Korea, and all that stuff. Things like cybersecurity were deemed to be a big threat to the world at the time. Climate change was actually number one, and we were not all of us very unhappy with Donald Trump at the time. So Q4 was looking like a normal world environment. So that's where we were, and we were all busy to start 2020 very bullishly and hoping that we shall have a very successful 2020. So moving on to 2020, the same study results looked like this. If we may go to 2020 Q1, look at what has since happened. The pandemic and infectious disease shot to number one risk. This is because of the situation we are in with COVID-19. It sprang from nowhere in between the risks and became the threat to the world. Now, that is where we are, and that's what the stage we are setting in for this discussion. So insurance, like any other industry, was caught completely unaware. Nobody in the world had planned or even thought about COVID-19 as we moved into 2020 until March 2020. So that's the situation we were in. Insurance is known to be actuarial-based, very well meticulously planned on study, but the actuaries and nobody else would have actually ever predicted the situation we found ourselves in. So we have to be very honest with ourselves that insurance industry, like anybody else in the world, was caught flat-footed without any plan or any reaction towards the pandemic. Now, a further study was done by Actis. Actis is a private equity business which is represented all across the world and with investments across all the industries. Now, this was as of April, but the figures as of June will actually speak to the same results. Now, there was a question as to how the world was concerned about the COVID-19. Now, if you look at the graphs, as of March 2020, the blue represents as the results as to how we were concerned about the effect of COVID. The lighter blue and the other color following there, showing 39, was that we were somewhat not very concerned about the COVID-19. The numbers kept moving. If you look at April 2020, we were more concerned from 18% to 32%. The numbers as of June today will be somewhat like 70 or 80%, if not close to 90%, that COVID-19 is of a huge concern to everybody. So progressively, we thought this was a Chinese disease. Sometime in January, it became a European disease, sometime in February. And by March, like in Kenya on 12th March, when this was announced, we started to move from denial to accepting until today, where we have all accepted that COVID-19 is a real threat to all of us. Now, moving on, there has been a question as to what we are worried about. Now, most of us have been worried about the employee health and well-being. Employee is people, so we have all been concerned about the health and the well-being of all of us as a society. A big number has been worried about the effect of COVID resulting into a civil unrest because people are lacking jobs, people are lacking livelihood, and when you do not have food, you do not have your livelihood, the natural instinct is to look for it somehow. So everybody else is worried that we shall move from worried about health to a civil unrest when we start to be affected in terms of our livelihood. Businesses have been worried about running out of cash, and that's real. And businesses have also been worried about breaching covenants, breaching contractual arrangements, and a few of us have been worried about the effect of IT society as we start to use more IT in the way we do, we interact with our lives. So from an insurance perspective, these are the things we are talking about. How shall we insure them? How shall we manage those risks? How shall we manage the risk of going without food? How shall we manage the risk of health or the risk of losing our lives because of the pandemic? How shall we manage that is what is reflecting on our topic today on how then can we transfer that risk to insurance, and where it is not transferable, how can we manage, contain that, and secure our lives. But before we look at that, let's look at a study on the impact of COVID across industries, across the entire environment we operate in. Governments across the world have been most affected. There's more demand for health services, there's more demand for stimulus, there's more demand on government to provide a solution, resource-wise, socially, and leadership-wise. So governments across the world have been most hit. And we have seen how many governments have reacted in very different forms, but all of them have been hit the hardest. The third part is individuals and SMEs have been second online. Now, in Africa, we know for sure that the economies and our livelihoods are driven by SMEs and our individuals at work. Now, we've been most affected. It is the small who have been most affected. It is the small who have been hit on their livelihood. And that's where it hurts most. Following there is travel and tourism. We all know for sure that the hospitality industry has been most hit. And economies which rely on tourism and the hospitality industry as a major source of GDP have actually been hit hardest. And in East Africa, we are not left behind. Kenya is big in tourism, Tanzania is big in tourism, Rwanda, Uganda, not too much the Kenya levels, but we've been hit completely very hard. Our airlines are all grounded, our hotels are all completely shut down. That goes down with a very huge impact on our livelihoods as well. The education sector, we all know, has been hit very hard. Agriculture has also been hit extremely very hard. Manufacturing has also been hit extremely hard. Transport and logistics, extremely very hard. We've seen the snail of trade of trucks moving from across the borders between Uganda and Tanzania. The impact has been great. NGOs have been greatly affected. Their operations are across the countries with little movement across the countries. With the social distancing, NGOs have also been hit very hard. All the other sections of the economies have moderately been hit, but the beneficiary or the silver lining has been on ICT. No wonder we are using this kind of platforms for meeting, and the demand for ICT is rising. The good news is that Kenya was much ahead in the ICT infrastructure and the digital infrastructure. So we've sort of had a slight advantage over many other African countries. So that is the environment we have been asked to ensure. That is the environment we have been asked to risk manage. That is the environment our heritage of 40 years has been challenged to deal with, and to advise our customers, to advise our clients on how to respond to the current situation, either at the individual level or the business level, and at the government level. Our advisory has been called for in that environment. So what are we saying? What are we advising our clients to do? We have come out very strong to support the idea of digital transformation. Clearly, Africa will, and the world as well, can only risk manage the current environment through digital transformation. And just before COVID, early in the year, we launched the Liaison Group Insurance Online. Now, Brian mentioned that we are independent, so we have created an online open market for all our clients to log in, select your preferred insurer, select your preferred product online, pay for it online, including paying by installment online, and receive your insurance contracts online as well. But more importantly, when the claims come, we shall also deal with them online, and we shall make sure that we deliver your claims and benefits online. That we did even before COVID. And we are encouraging the other industries, the other insurance companies to do the same. The difference with ours is because we give you a platform for you to select your preferred insurance company. We are not an insurance company, we are an independent player. In fact, we are your advocate. So we are giving you an environment where you can select your preferred insurance company, and we are giving you an undertaking that we shall be your advocate should your benefits become due. So that's how we have responded on the part of digital transformation, and we are encouraging even our clients in their own businesses to move digital, and we are sure we are speaking to the converted already. The other way of dealing with the risk at the moment is to make sure that you remain very, very focused on efficiency, so that you may cut waste, so that you may preserve cash, so that you may be able to have some reserved cash flow to see tomorrow. Here at Liaison, we say we love tomorrow, we live today to love tomorrow. So efficiency is very, very important. We are not advocating for job cuts, we are not advocating for redundancy, but we are advocating for efficiency. that discussion of whether you should go for redundancy or whether you should go for pay cuts, we shall have it in our next discussion because it's a big topic. But we are advocating for efficiency rather than total elimination of some of the essential cost lines. So there's been a big rethink in the insurance platform. Cybercrime has become a big risk, and we are also alerting all our customers to review their ICT governance and make sure that the protocols and the safety of their ICT protocols are well secured, because as more the world moves to employ technology, then the risk of cybercrime becomes huge, and you can actually be wiped out overnight if you do not have strong rooms in your ICT platforms. Business interruption like COVID has introduced is also major. Unfortunately, like I said, there was never any insurance company prepared to provide business interruption against a pandemic. It never occurred since the Spanish flu, and nobody anticipated it. So we are now faced with challenges as to whether you can actually claim under business interruption for the COVID business lost. So that is a big challenge to the insurance industry. We do not want to advocate very quickly that you should be having a pandemic insurance business interruption going forward, but we are looking at possibilities of how to mitigate the same. The other big risk which has come, and most of you have talked to us about it, is mental health. The stress, the strain, the mental drain coming with this pandemic has become so huge that mental health has become one of the biggest risks for all of us. So there is insurance against that, but the best insurance against mental health, to be honest with yourselves, is to accept the situation and face it head on. There's no prognosis or medical treatment for mental breakdown because of failing to face the pandemic head on. This is coming with knowledge like we are providing, and although our medical insurance covers do extend to include mental health, we do not prescribe that as the immediate solution. We are prescribing knowledge as the immediate solution to mental health. And that's why we are holding forums of this nature to give you more information, to give you more ammunition, to ease your mind so that you do not have a mental breakdown, because there's no repair for losing your gray matter. The gray matter is the one shown we connected in this particular slide. Inside, if you look very keenly, that's the gray matter. Let's keep the gray matter strong. Let's not destroy it either way. So moving on, here at Liaison Group, we are also advocating for a more bullish approach towards managing insurance. Now, one thing I want to remind our clients, friends, is you recall in September 2011, we had the bomb blast here in Nairobi. And therefore, the possibility of not being able to access our offices here at Liaison Group in Mombasa and in our regional offices became core in our contingent plans, and our infrastructure, our investment in our infrastructure has since then been solidly built about that experience of the bomb blast. Therefore, the fluid nature of the situation arising out of the COVID-19 found us here at Liaison Group ready with a plan to protect our staff while at the same time maintaining a level of service that our clients are used to. So we've been able to operate highly flexible working regime with all our staff able to work remotely and securely from their home environments. This has been the same for most of our customers, but we are also now being reminded by this COVID that there is every possibility that you may be able you may not be able to access your routine working environment. So as part of risk management and as part of insurance program, we are encouraging all of us now as a business, as individuals, to have contingent plans in the event a similar situation occurs, or in the event that a situation like we had with the Westgate or any other calamity or disaster, that you do not get yourself flat-footed. So we've been lucky in a way that COVID found us here at Liaison ready, and I am so sure that I share this experience with most of you who have tried to reach us and found that we were always available and able to give our services, even in this COVID environment. So out of that ADNAF experience, we've taken a very bullish attitude towards COVID. We've been advocating for offensive rather than defensive attitude and mentality towards this pandemic environment. So we've been advising our customers, rather than get timid, they just get very offensive and very bullish in the way they do business. Some had to assume that although COVID is likely to be with us for a long time, it should not paralyze the operations of any business. It should not paralyze the operations of any individual undertakings. And that is why we have come out with these 3 reactions towards the pandemic as a way of risk managing it. So on the insurance front, just like we have been offensive, we have said we should have a radical review of the insurance portfolio. And on the team side, we have said the team must play game. The team must play game. The team must have the same attitude towards facing the pandemic. So this is our 3-pronged approach, risk management, as we advise you on how to deal with the COVID situation. So moving on, we are saying that ensure that your operations are operating efficiently, both with the people and with the technology. Do not get stuck on the crossroads. You must pick one path. If you decide to pick the left path, please pick the left path and commit it. If you decide to go on the right path, please pick the right path and commit. There's no two-way about it. It is all about moving forward, because this situation is not likely to go away soon. We are not seeing a situation where the vaccine is coming sooner, and we are only seeing a situation possibly where our immune system will get bigger, will get stronger. So we must commit and move forward and move along with our decision. So that is our advisory. If there's nothing else you're going to take from me today, please take offense rather than defense. Okay. Technically, we have our teams in the risk management department and in the advisory department. I've been advising our clients to take a radical review of all insurances. Like I've said, we are independent, we are not an insurance company. So we work for our customers, we work for you, our clients, we do not work for the insurance companies. So we are not protecting premiums, we are protecting your businesses, we are protecting your survival. We do not mind when the premiums go down, as long as you live today so that tomorrow finds you alive. So on the planned and fixed assets, we are saying retain your insurances because these are your core operating assets. But please drive hard negotiations on payment terms. Make sure that you can get at least easy payment terms, commit to those so that you may have some cash flow left for operations. On the movable assets, things like automobile, please go for laid up covers. If you had comprehensive covers and you do not have a bank on the car and you're not likely to use all your vehicles, please lay them up. You will lift them when the need comes. If you have to, reduce covers to third party. If you have a bank interest on the vehicles, please make sure that you attach a premium finance to those ones with the bank interest. On the employee covers, These ones, we call them casualty covers, things like WIBA, employee liabilities. We are saying, fine, these are legislated covers. They are required by the law. So retain them, but negotiate very hard on the payment terms. Those who have reduced, or rather are operating on half salaries, please make sure that that is what is reflected in the salaries paid. On the financial and professional indemnity covers, scale down the limits so that at least the premiums can also come down. So those are the radical reviews we are advising on the insurance front. Now, I mentioned earlier the third prong approach. Now, the third wing of this is actually engaging as a team. Here at Liaison, we have decided that the best offense strategy towards the pandemic is to make sure that the entire ecosystem actually plays the team. We are advising owners and founders and stakeholders in the business to actually give the business support. We are happy when we see businesses foregoing dividends and employing those dividends payouts to the operations. That is actually part of the team. We are also happy when the bankers are giving moratoriums and when the bankers are giving extended support to the businesses. We are also encouraging supply chains to give very competitive terms for the supplies into the manufacturing or into any other of the businesses. We are also advising our clients to demand more and also to support their partners. But more so, we are also pushing very hard the government narrative of supporting the businesses with stimulus and even the renegotiating on taxes. So we are advising that the whole ecosystem must play ball. Liaison is involved in at KEPSA. We are involved in all lobby groups, and we are investing a lot in making sure that we play our diplomacy role to make sure that our customers in whichever sector do survive this pandemic environment so that we can all live to tell the success story years to come. So we are encouraging all of us to play in a team. We are encouraging the whole ecosystem of business to talk. And that's why we are having these engagements so that we may share opinions, we may share ideas, and we may come out of this environment stronger together. So that is how we see it. That is how we feel that the pandemic or the COVID-19 can be managed. And that is how we feel that you can ensure yourself, shield yourself against this disaster, so that we may live with it for the time being and fight it down as we move on. We do not know when this is going to end, but definitely it's going to end sooner because we are seeing that we are getting used to the new normal. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me, and I will be sitting back to take questions, comments, opinions, or critique to how we see the ensuring and managing the pandemic situation. Asanteni sana. Dan, you may take it away from there.
Thank you so much, our team leader and Captain Tomulwa, who is the Group Managing Director for Liaison Group, for the wonderful presentation you have managed to present to our bosses who are clients across the country who are on board this morning. I would like to take this opportunity, our able clients and our bosses, that I invite one of our able engineers, Faith Koki, who has been taking note of the questions and comments, to be able to go through them briefly, and then our team leader will be able to respond, as well as our GM, risk and insurance. And we'll also give opportunity to some of you who would like to ask direct questions by raising up your hands, and we'll really appreciate your feedbacks. Faith Koki, you can take us through the questions which our bosses have managed to raise during the presentation so that we can be able to respond. Thank you.
Okay, the first question is from Philemon Mwavala. He has asked, tourism has been hardest hit by the pandemic with complete temporary shutdowns due to travel both locally and internationally. This has resulted in nil cash flows. What is the plan by Liaison to support our clients due to challenges in meeting premiums?
Thank you, Faith. I think you can go through all of them. Are they many? So that we can have an opportunity to respond to all of them. I think so. It's better that way.
Okay, the second one is from Faith. Did you say COVID-19 is covered through group life? Kindly explain. The third one is from Susan. Now that the pandemic has affected the global platform, are you taking any initiatives to consider your dedicated customers in terms of your policies, stroke limits in terms of giving them friendly, affordable rates in the recovering process? The next one is from George. Since the pandemic impact is embedded in your GLA policy, what about the aspect of BI policies? From George also, yesterday the CS for tourism did project that even post-COVID-19, the tourism sector is still down, and instead he proposed that the tourism entities to promote domestic tourism, despite the fact the population are heavily hit by the pandemic. How is the insurance sector working to cushion this sector? Khadija is asking, he say, please elaborate on GLA effectiveness on COVID-19. George is saying insurance is purely relationship business with a personal touch. What strategies have been put in place by the sector to progress this valuable aspect of insurance in post-COVID-19? Then by Tendai, nice presentation. Does the GLA cover the absence caused the COVID-19 or covers underwriter or reinsurance, or they reinsure? By Faith also, she's asking, what is the most likely position of our pension investment by end of 2020? Then Shalini is asking, will travel insurance? Yes?
Faith, if you may repeat that particular question again, please.
Yes?
The rest can mute their microphones to enable us have smooth communication. Please mute your microphones.
The one by Tendai.
Yes.
You said nice presentation. Does the GLA cover the absence caused by COVID-19? And who covers? Is it underwriter or reinsurer?
Okay, Faith, let's answer those so that we don't lose either of them, and then we will continue from there. So I'm going to take on the questions on tourism and hospitality, and Brian is going to respond to the GLA questions, because most of these questions evolve around those two. GLA is group life insurance. Now, I will start with the easy one about whether tourism is going to recover and whether we should be focused on domestic tourism. I do agree with the CS that domestic tourism will come in handy to boost the recovery of tourism. And even before COVID-19, from in the last 5 or so years, there has been a drive towards domestic tourism. But there is a silver lining. There has been a study conducted overseas in Europe and America, and actually the Europeans and the Americans and even people from Latin America are gearing to get out of the confinement of their environment and see the world. You know, the human being is a social being. The human being knows how to adapt. In fact, I think Phil may confirm to us that we are seeing bookings in September. We are seeing bookings for next year. The world is actually gearing to go out and open. We've got a very pleasant product in Kenya and in East Africa. In Tanzania, where they did not have a total lockdown, actually they do have tourists in the game parks. So I am very optimistic, and I still believe in going offensive. Tourism will come back. People will travel. People will come to see the world. You know, September 11 came, and people were not afraid to fly again because they were not afraid that aircrafts will be smashing on the tall buildings. People still traveled. So I think we should not lose hope. Tourism will bounce back, whether international tourism or even domestic tourism. The bit of how we are helping, because we do believe tourism and hospitality will come back, we are actually working with our clients towards premium insurance financing. At some time, we've even decided to share the premium finance cost with our customers so that they may be able to keep their properties insured as we wait for the better days. So let's keep our hope alive. Let's be like the central bank governor, that we are people of faith. It's going to be good. We are not going to be wiped out by this pandemic. So please trust me. Tourism and domestic and international tourism and international travel will come back sooner than we think. So Brian, please, if you may respond on the GLA questions.
Thank you very much, Group MD Tomulo. Faith and I asked questions on Group Life, and when the WHO classified COVID-19 as pandemic, we negotiated with the underwriters, and we're happy to say that the Group Life policies currently in our place or in our positions as an extension of coverage on COVID-19, or otherwise known as pandemic as classified by WHO. So all our clients, we are happy to report that the pandemic is covered, and we have experienced 2 or 3 claims from our extreme clients, and all of them will be paid. Another question which it was asked is, in terms of Group Life policies, who takes the cost? Is it the underwriter or insurance? Every underwriter has an arrangement either to retain the entire risk or to do what you call the risk transfer by reinsuring it. So it is actually according to different underwriters if they can absorb the risk or they can transfer. But as you know, most of the risks actually are reinsured. So all these are insured, and the normal treaties with respective underwriters will take place. Also, there was a question on the issue of the business interruption, which I think my MD has already explained that in case there is lower profits, definitely you'll do a declaration, and out of that, at Liaison Group, the way our MD has mentioned, we'll be able to issue a credit note to that effect. So thank you very much. That is the response on Group Life.
Faith, you can continue if you have some more questions, maybe, Bunny.
Yes, the next one is from Lily Kimeu. Is there a business interruption policy that will cover loss due to the COVID-19? Then Tendai asks, Are premiums likely to increase? Then George, under the declaration policies, there is already a presumption that the estimate is going down. Can the credit be used to offset any premiums? Faith asks, what is the most likely position of our pension investment by end of 2020? Then Charlene asks, will travel insurance cover COVID once airspace opens up? Then Jay Kobe asks, the tourism sector where I am, a player has taken a big hit. Our PSV vehicles, which you have covered, are totally grounded, yet we still have to cover them comprehensively due to the financing agreements. How can you help? Those are the questions.
Faith, let me have a go on these questions. One, business interruption for COVID is not covered by any policy. In my earlier slides, I actually demonstrated why. It was never deemed to be a risk. So no insurance company in the world actually had classified or had anticipated that they would cover business interruption out of a pandemic environment. So unfortunately, that was never covered because all business interruption policies will cover pandemics, but you have to declare them. So the declared pandemics are the pandemics we knew about. We did not know about COVID-19. So it's very unfortunate. And even if it was there, then no insurance companies would have closed by now because all of us would have been claiming anyway. And so it's unfortunate that BI is not covered, and that's why we are advocating more for risk management rather than insurance. Now, the question of whether premiums will increase, I don't think so. Insurance, like any other business, must survive. So if they're going to be increasing costs, then obviously you will have an option of not even to insure, because at the moment we are not looking at increased cost. We are actually looking at decreasing our costs. With regard to credits, because of reduced business, yes, the credits are your money back, and those credits can be used in future insurance payments. You can knock them off against future insurance commitments, and some of you may even want to redeem those as cash. So that is money back to you. So that is a yes. With regard to the effect on pension, yes, Liaison Group is big in the pension sector. We have we were one of the first to be registered as pension administrators in Kenya, and we are seeing a drastic decline and the drastic projections into the negatives of our pension returns going forward in 2020. The good news is that pension is a long game. So we do expect that possibly there will be recoveries in the future on the negative investments. But the sad part, of course, is we have seen reduced contributions because of retrenchments or because of pay cuts, increased default in pension contributions. So the sector in pension has been hit extremely very hard by this pandemic. But like I said, it's a long game. We hope that we'll be, over time, be able to recover the lost opportunity in the pension sector. With regard to whether international travel will extend to COVID, yes, here at Liaison, we are very strong with healthcare, and we shall ensure that our medical schemes do extend to include the benefits of any emergencies arising out of COVID while people are traveling. The good news is that insurance companies are getting used to it, and they are getting very innovative, coming up with products as to how to protect us on the risk of COVID. So that should not be a challenge. Please speak to us if you wish to travel, and we shall make sure that we make those covers available to you. With regard as to how we will help you with your PSV vehicles which are currently grounded and with loans, please talk to us. We will be able to negotiate for laid up covers, extensions, so that you do not have to pay the same rate while the vehicle is on ground. We should be able to negotiate for a reduced rate because we know for sure that the risk of the vehicle is less because they are all parked in the garages and they are not moving. And the only reason why you have been forced to have that as comprehensive is because you have a bank loan. If need be, we could reduce those to catastrophic risk like fire, etc. So yes, we have solutions. Faith Koki was speaking now, and Dennis Karanja and all the risk management teams are actually very available to advise you on how to reschedule or how to rearrange your insurances to create efficiencies on cash flow. So thank you very much. In case I have not responded to your question more specifically, please feel free to raise your hand and we should be able to respond to it immediately.
MD, there's a question from Amisi Hassan. Is asking, can we get moratorium on premium payment?
That is a very good one. I think we need to get insurance for it. Amisi, thank you very much for that challenge. At the moment, there is no moratorium for insurance premium payment. It's not there at the moment, but to be honest, I think that is something for the research team to think about. I mean, banks have moratoriums on loans. So Amisi, thank you very much for that innovative questions, and I'm sure we'll go to the kitchen and find a solution for you.
A last one from George. He say in maritime sector, there are third parties contracted to provide specific services to the port. Therefore, in instances where an individual or entity can demonstrate that they have contracted COVID-19 as a result of interaction with the port, which is currently perceived to be high risk area, can the maritime industry explore their respective policies to cushion them on this exposure?
Yes. In fact, we are big in the maritime area, and we actually do understand that question quite a lot. And yes, we would like to engage you offline on that particular subject, because we've been reviewing the contractual agreements in the maritime area just to find out whether import or exposure to people working in that industry can be claimed against any culprits who may have imported the disease in the environment. So yes, we would like to pick that offline with you, engage with it, because it's a very specific question to a very specific industry. And we would like to keep up our munitions very safe to make sure that we protect our clients who are involved in the maritime industry. So please, Koki, pick the contact. We shall definitely be engaging going forward on that particular advisory.
Okay, I have noted that. Then someone else has asked offline whether COVID-19 is covered under WIBA.
Let me just open it.
Brian, can you please respond?
Yes, thank you very much, our clients. The way I've mentioned earlier is that under group life, pandemic is covered. But there's also many questions that comes from our clients, which says that is COVID-19 covered under WIBA? Remember, under WIBA policy, there is what you call death benefits. There is medical reimbursement. There is temporary total disability. But now when it comes to the issue of COVID-19, the question that everyone is asking himself is it an occupational illness or it is a natural illness? So according to the insurance, WIBA covers only occupational illness. Unfortunately now, when it comes to COVID-19, it is not classified as occupational illness unless if you're working in a medical field, that is the doctors, the nurses, those ones actually will be covered because it occurs within their professional undertaking. So dear our customers, for those who are not in medical field, COVID-19 is not covered under WIBA. So thank you very much. I think that one I've cleared well. Back to Faith Koki.
So far I can see the questions in the meeting chat are done. Perhaps people can raise up their hands and ask.
Our clients and our bosses, now it is time where you can raise your hand and we'll be able to give you an opportunity to share your maybe your comments regarding this particular presentation we have had. Anyone who can raise up his or her hand and will be able to give you an opportunity present your either comments. If there are none, I would like to appreciate all of you for making time to join us today for this particular engagement. And this does not mark to be the first and last one. We'll like to be engaging you frequently, and we'll still arrange another engagement in the near future, where we'll still be able to invite you on board as we move on. And thank you so much. Despite your tight diaries, you managed to join us today, and we say thank you. This marks the end of our today presentation. Your moderator for today, I've been Danson Kaba, the Regional Manager Post Liaison Group. Thank you so much. On behalf of Liaison Group, we'd like to say a big thank you for business support you have always managed to support us with, and we will remain focused moving forward, making sure that we give you the best service as we have done even before. Thank you and be blessed. And now you can log off at this particular moment. Thank you so much.